Hello, my name is Ellie and I'm part of the onboarding team at Quirky Campers. And today I'm going to take you through our renting out your campervan workshop. So this will cover everything you need to know about renting out your campervan on our platform, some common questions that we get asked all the time, how our system works, pros, cons, all that kind of thing. Let's get started. So first things first, why rent out your camper van? So pros, in other words. So something I always ask owners who get in touch with ourselves is how many days a year does your van not get used? And I think we can all be honest and say a lot more than we anticipated when maybe we first bought our vans. So it's just always something to bear in mind when your camper van is sitting in your garage or driveway. All those days that it's there, it could be making additional income for you. So the main ones here is to earn an extra bit of cash. We have a lot of owners who just want to rent out their camper vans for a limited time in the summer or outside of school holidays to basically just fund their own holidays or fund the general upkeep of their van. Obviously, going on from that, a main or a second income. We have a lot of owners who do this as a business or alongside their other business and would keep their camper van available all year round. So a wide variety there. Next main reason would be it is a great form of investment and it's great return on investment too. So I'll touch on that a little bit further, but it's a much higher return on investment than a lot of other options. Next one is it keeps your van running. So any camper van owners will know that a van sitting idle for a long time is not great for its mechanics. If you rent out your camper van for a period of time, that keeps the van running, keeps everything moving, which is probably will save you a lot of issues in the long run. And finally, campervans have a very low depreciation. As we know, campervanning has becoming very popular in the last few years. So campervans would have a much lower depreciation than other vehicles, which is great for us. So, with any pro, obviously there's going to be cons, and these are things you really should think about before getting into renting out your camper van. So, the main thing there would be it is a tie to rent out your camper van. So, if you're the type of person that doesn't have a fixed address, or you're moving around a lot, or might not know where you'll be living, in the near future, it probably isn't for you because obviously a lot of our customers will book in advance and you would need to have a fixed location for pickup to take place. Obviously renting your van, you would need to have some bit of stability there to enable customers to be able to pick up your van. Like any renting, be it a house or car or camper van in this case, there will be damage. Luckily, we have a lot of systems in place to help minimize that and advice that we can give to hopefully make that occur a lot less frequently. But obviously, damage is a reality for any rent business. So it is something that you should think about. Same with breakdowns. We have lots of systems in place to help avoid that. But unfortunately, it is an inevitable part of renting. So probably our most popular question, understandably, is how much money can you make? So as I was kind of saying before, we've such a wide variety of owners that list with ourselves, people who just want to make a little bit of extra cash to fund their own holidays, and obviously people who use renting as a main or a second income. So to give you a general idea, we typically see our owners renting between 50 and 150 nights per year. So as you can see, there's a big variance between those two numbers. And we have seasonal pricing, which changes the nightly rate of your campervan. So obviously a low season price, your Januaries, Februaries, that kind of thing, and that changes very regularly and increases as the year goes on and the season goes on to our high season pricing. Obviously your bank holidays in August, for example, when kids are off school. So typically, you can expect to see an average nightly payout of between £80 and £120 after our commission is deducted. So again, very a broad range there. Could be higher or a little bit lower depending on the price you set for your camper van. But that's typically what you could expect to see in a nightly payout for your camper van. In terms of your net income, minus all your expenditures, maintenance, insurance, all that kind of thing, you can typically see our owners making it between £6,000 and £12,000 per year. Again, huge range there. But we do have a lot of owners who easily exceed this, and obviously some that make less than £6,000 if this is not something they want to spend a huge amount of time doing, or huge amount of availability for customers to book. But that generally is what we would see in terms of income from renting out with ourselves. So obviously all campervans are different, locations are different, styles are completely different. So we have created an income generator, which is a great little tool on a spreadsheet that you can pop in your campervan's details, where you're located, all that kind of thing. And it will give you a ballpark range of how much you could be expected to earn with ourselves. So do get in touch if you'd like to take a look at that income generator, and we can send that out to you for you to pop in the details of your van. So another important question is renting out for you. So yeah, a couple of questions to think about before taking that step. Do you have previous experience renting out a house or Airbnb? So maybe a bit of an obvious one, but if you've done any sort of renting before and you've enjoyed it, then definitely renting out your camper van is a great option, especially if you've done it with a house or Airbnb, holiday home, that kind of thing. Obviously, the upkeep in camper vans can be a lot easier. It's a smaller space to clean, for example, so a lot less time involved. And then speaking of time, do you have enough time to rent out your camper van? So obviously you'd need to meet the customer when they pick up the camper van, obviously be available if there's any issues. So just something to think about work-wise or your own commitments-wise, if you have enough to do that. Or do you have someone else to help? So a lot of our camper van owners rent out their camper van with a friend or partner, a sibling, that kind of thing. So it's always great to have somebody on hand, just in case you're not available. So just to make sure that you do have that arranged before going ahead. So then kind of an obvious one, are you IT literate? Our booking system is very straightforward. It's quite similar even to Airbnb if you've used that platform before. But obviously all of our bookings are online, and just to make sure that you're comfortable with that system before taking the next step. And then finally, I've just popped in there that nerves get better with time. A lot. I don't know one owner actually who wasn't nervous before their first booking, but it does get easier. The nerves do go away, especially when that first booking comes back and your customers had a great time. So yeah, just worth bearing that in mind if you do feel a bit nervous about it all. So, common barriers and how to avoid them. So, we get campervan owners contacting us all the time, and they unfortunately have a few small issues that would prevent them from renting out their campervan. So, just wanted to list a few of those here. So, having a portable hob is probably the biggest one. So portable hobs are not designed for indoor use. It's just for outdoor use. So having a camper van just with a portable hob, and obviously a customer using this inside, could have some consequences, safety consequences in that way. So we want to remove that possibility that customers would use portable hobs inside if it's bad weather, that kind of thing. So we would need you to have a fixed cooking setup, like a gas hob or an oven or an induction hob, just to make sure that they are obviously designed for indoor use and you're not going to have any issues there. So if you do have a gas system in your van, you will need a gas safety sign off. So anyone that's kind of gone through the conversion process before will know what this is. It's basically just a sign off guarantee from a gas safe engineer to say that everything is working fine. So that's something that we do require in order to list with ourselves. Next thing is overweight. There are some camper vans, unfortunately, that can be quite a heavy base vehicle. So just worth bearing in mind that when you are, if you are in the process of converting a van or buying one, to make sure that you have enough payload in your camper van for customers, for their luggage, that kind of thing. And yeah, again, safety being our main concern. So yeah, kind of following on from the last slide is unable to treat it as a business. Obviously, we're all very fond of our camper vans, and nerves are inevitable. But if you feel that you won't be able to relax or treat it as a business, it might not be for you because, yeah, we obviously don't want a situation where you're spending your whole time stressed. So if you're able to treat it as a business and separate that, then this definitely would be for you. Yeah, and then this might seem like an obvious one, but not understanding how your van works. Unfortunately, it does happen a lot when van owners come to us and they have just bought their van and they want to get it on a rental platform as soon as possible to make some extra income from it, and they haven't actually been out in the camper van themselves or have seen how it works. So obviously, if any issues arise, customers ask questions, they might not really know the answers to that. So definitely worth spending a few trips in your van to get to know it all, so you can feel comfortable going through any issues or fixing anything should they arise. So, how to maximize income? So, a couple of really top tips here. So, launching early in the year. So, the sooner you can launch in the low season, the better. Obviously, if you list your camper van in the winter time, November, December, January, February, all that kind of thing, you're obviously going to be listed for longer, and the more customers will see you and be able to book your camper van rather than waiting in the summer where that whole period of time has been missed by you. So yeah, definitely worth launching early in the year, early as possible. And although you might not get bookings straight away, you'll be able to familiarize with the system. And as I said, get those bookings in for, especially with customers who want to book longer holidays in advance, your camper van will be available for them to book. So good reviews might seem like an obvious one again. So yeah, the sooner you can get a few good reviews in, I'm sure we'll all be guilty of picking something that has the best reviews out of a selection of other things. So we definitely find our camper vans with the best reviews will always be picked first. So as I said, the sooner you can get on early in the year, get a few bookings under your belt and a few nice reviews, the whole rest of the season will be a lot more successful for you. So a really important one, and one I can't understate, is to have good pro quality photos. So especially with our customer base, having a really beautiful van is so important, and especially if you want to stand out amongst the other lovely quirky camper vans on our website, and photos that are able to do your camper van justice will make a massive difference in customers who want to make a booking. Location being the next one. So I touch on this a little bit further, being in the north of England or Scotland are our most popular locations. And then after that, near any population centres or major transport links. Obviously, the more people are around, the easier it is for customers to get to you, and yeah, would make you more popular with their customers. Next thing is a top quality conversion with extra berths, a toilet, and a shower. So any features that will make renting, or pardon me, camper van holidaying a bit easier for your customers will go a long way. So as it kind of goes on from the lovely photos, but a really beautiful conversion where customers are seeing something a little bit different, that will certainly make a difference in maximizing your income. So another thing to maximize income is add-ons. So if you've been on our website before, or in fact booked a quirky camper van before, you'll see that we offer, or camper van owners offer, a list of optional add-ons. So I've given some examples there: table chairs, fire pit, kayak, anything like that. So these are a great way to bring up the value of bookings. And one thing that our most popular camper vans have in common is they have an extensive list of add-ons. Obviously, there's no commission to be paid on add-ons. These are something you provide. But if you have 3 or 4 or 5 add-ons that get added to each booking, that can easily bring up your the value of the booking by about £100 or so, without having much of an effort by yourself. Obviously, if you have the table and chairs or the fire pit already sitting in your garage, it's no effort really to just pop that out in the van when your customer is picking it up. So definitely worth bearing that one in mind. So as I kind of touched on before, return on investment. So just a bit of maths there to give you an idea of how return on investment works. So anyone that's rented out a property before, you might see that a normal return on investment for this would be between about 5 and 8%. on property, and campervan hire can easily exceed 15%. So obviously a huge increase in return on investment there if you're thinking about an investment. So how you can work that out is you would take your income divided by the cost of the van, multiply that by 100. So just a couple of examples there. I won't go into them too deeply, but you can kind of see how the difference between a top performing van, mid performing van, and a low performing van, they all have return on investments over 10%. So from 13 to 23.3 for a top performer. So as you can see, a really, really interesting option if you're looking at a van as an investment. So what are the costs? So just to break down on average what you can expect the cost to be. First main thing is insurance. So obviously a special type of renting insurance that will cover you and your customers. It works out as about £1,700 per year. Maintenance, again, this can widely vary depending on your van or issues that might occur, but on average, we would expect to see that between £500 and £1,500 per year. Tax, £250, MOT, 50, weighbridge cert, as I was kind of saying before. We do require your campervan to be weighed to make sure that it is not overweight before listing with ourselves. Those typically are about £10, sometimes more, sometimes less. And then obviously your gas safe cert, as I was kind of saying before about renting out your campervan, if you do have gas in your campervan, we do require a gas safety cert. So that's about £75. So next up is which vans perform best. So this is just a kind of a broad idea. If you want kind of a more in-depth list or want to talk about this to our team, we'd be more than happy to provide you with a bit of insight there. But just wanted to give you a few examples of our top performing vans. So the first one is Bear, which is a beautiful family camper van. You can't really see in the back, but it basically has two stacked double beds there. Obviously gorgeous interior, lovely browns and beiges there, and an inside shower and toilet. So as you can see, it's a super popular camper van for families, and obviously is really self-contained, heating as well. So you can imagine families would want to book that well in advance. It's completely self-contained, and has everything you need there. So something a little bit different would be Tatty, based in Edinburgh. So as I was saying, Scottish fans do quite well. It is a two-berth, so more advertised towards couples or friends as opposed to families, but equally as popular as a family van. And now, Tatty doesn't have an inside shower, but has an outside shower, very easy to install. Doesn't even need to be hot water or anything, just to have that available, beach trips, all that kind of thing. And crucially, it has a portaloo toilet as well. Some other examples would be another family van, Forest, based in the northeast. And again, another family camper van, inside shower, toilet. Something you'll see there is beautiful photos. If you do look at Forest on our website, they really showcase the van beautifully. And yeah, again, gorgeous family van, completely self-contained, books way in advance for families wanting to think about their holidays. And then on the other side of things, another gorgeous two-berth camper van, inside shower and toilet too, but just a two-berth. And again, just as popular as Forest or even Bear. So as you can see, what I kind of wanted to show there is obviously there's a good variation in locations, even in who the camper van would be kind of specifically designed for, families, couples, that kind of thing. But as you can see, the one kind of main correlation there is you can see they're beautiful camper vans. They photograph really well, and the owners showcase those vans really well in their photos. So yeah, something to bear in mind. So which locations perform best? So I kind of touched on this a little bit before. London, obviously, lots of people and large population centres. So any cities or large towns. Scotland would be a massive one for us. Always has been. We can never get enough Scottish fans. Campervan based in the northwest and east, Lake District, that kind of thing as well. Again, huge demand for campervans around there. Obviously, beautiful road trips to take in that part of the world, and obviously Midlands, very easily accessible for people planning to travel north or in fact down south. So if you are based in one of those areas, you will do quite well. So what do hires want? The golden question. Something we've found definitely would be to have some form of shower in your campervan. So be that a inside shower, as like the ones I kind of showed you in Bear and Forest, or a smaller outside shower. So something very simple to have on the back of your campervan. Again, doesn't have to be too expensive or thought about it too much, just to have something. Obviously, if your customers are planning to travel off grid or stay outside of campsites, just to have something there to wash off sandy feet or that kind of thing really makes a difference in having more features for customers to see and then obviously to book. So more importantly would be to have a portaloo available or a portable toilet available. So that can be fixed like a kind of a cab setup, as you can kind of see from those other vans where they have a kind of compartment there where the toilet and the shower is together, or just to have something that kind of pulls out of a drawer, can be added as an add-on. But it just means that, again, especially customers that are traveling with children or customers that are not planning to stay at a campsite, just gives them more options of where they can go. So that definitely toilet number one to have available. Next one is heating. So that can be just as simple as a diesel heater. Wood burners are also quite popular, but obviously a little bit trickier to install, space and that kind of thing. But it just means that you have a longer period of time where customers would be willing to book autumn, early spring. Most of the time, customers wouldn't dream of booking a campervan without heating, understandably, in the British winter. So yeah, if you do have a campervan with heating and that you can show that on your listing to say it's basically an all-season van, then that will then you will immediately be included in that list of campervans that are suitable for wintertime. So yeah, the wider your season, the better, obviously. So yeah, again, kind of touched on this stylish and functional interior. Something that comes up a lot from owners who are maybe just starting their conversion or asking me what works well is try not to make something, make a campervan that does everything for everyone. So try not to make it too squashed or cramped. Pick basically a setup that suits you or that you like best, be it a 2-berth campervan or something a bit bigger that has space for larger families, but don't try and be everything for everyone. So if you have space for a toilet cubicle, fantastic. But if you're finding you've really prioritized the size of your kitchen and that cooking is your main interest, then don't try and squash something in for risk of the place feeling a little cramped. Again, think of winter bookings when you might spend a lot of time inside the van. Just make sure you're thinking of the function before going into renting or into converting your campervan. So the next thing, obviously, is to make it pet or festival friendly. So this is a option that we, a kind of a tick box that we allow owners to say, yes, I'm pet friendly, yes, I'm festival friendly. Might seem like an obvious one. Obviously, the wider the group of people that you can appear to, the better. And obviously, pet owners and campervan owners tend to go hand in hand a lot. So something we definitely recommend. Festivals as well are becoming so popular with customers these days for a nice, comfortable accommodation option. Some owners are quite nervous about them, but from our experience, festival bookings are definitely some of the most successful bookings we have. Obviously, the campervan sits in a field for the entire weekend, no miles on the clock. And obviously the campervan sections of festivals are the kind of quieter sections. So yeah, really something to consider if you are planning to rent out your van soon. So next up, insurance, always the fun part. So I've kind of broken down this as simply as possible. We do have a full insurance page that we can provide, which goes into this in a lot more detail of the different options and how insurance works. But just to give the basics, We recommend 3 different options. So the first two being Alan Boswell's policy. It's the self-drive hire insurance policy, as I was kind of saying before, that covers you and all your customers. So the first option is the annual policy. It's a package that you pay for the full year. So obviously, because you're paying for the full year, it does work out slightly better value for money. Works out at approximately £1,700 per year, depending on your area, sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more. And it covers up to 4 main drivers and all hires automatically who meet their insurance criteria. So another option that Alan Boswell offer is daily insurance. So it's the same insurance policy in that it covers you, your customers, no difference in the cover there, but you can basically pay per night. So when you get a booking, you would contact Alan Boswell, give them the details which we provide you on the customer, and they bill you per night that you require. You do need your own SDMP policy, so your standard campervan policy on your van to get this. So this would kind of run alongside your standard campervan policy that you need to drive your own van. But yeah, you would need to contact the insurer before each booking. Obviously, a little bit more admin involved. Would work out more expensive if you did it the full year, obviously, but it's a great option for people who would just want to try it out before committing to an annual policy. Or if you are coming on, let's say in the winter time, and say, right, well, I'll try the daily insurance first for maybe the few winter bookings I might receive, and then upgrade that to an annual policy. So a couple of options. The other one is an annual policy with Sterling Insurance. I don't have a huge amount of information there about Sterling for the fact that they don't have set pricing or have given us a set pricing guide. So they offer a very similar product to Alan Boswell's. Again, I won't go into the nitty gritty of it because they have slightly different insurance criteria, but as I said, contact us and we'll be able to provide you with the full page of insurance information should you want to take a look at it. So quickly, how do handovers work? So how does it work when a customer comes and picks up your van? So the first thing is that the hirer would travel to your location to pick up the van and meet yourself. You would then just carry out ID checks, make sure that they have their license, for example, and then complete the driver form. So if you've ever rented a car or in fact a camper van or anything before, it's basically a driver hire agreement. We provide all this, obviously. It's filled in prior to the pickup date with the customer, and it's basically just your standard vehicle condition report. You walk around, check, see if there's any marks, mark any existing ones. You sign it, the customer signs it, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, you'd show the hire how the van works. So something that we really recommend is to send a video guide over to the customer prior to picking up the van. This obviously brings down the time of how long you have to spend showing the van around to customers hugely, which is great. So yeah, having a video guide available, and especially even for customers to refer back to, if they've, had their handover a couple of days ago and then they go to use the awning for the first time and they can't remember how to use it. Obviously, if you've got a lovely video there to show them how to do it, it saves you getting a phone call in the evening time or whenever it is. So yeah, definitely worth doing that. As I said, cuts down the time that you would need to walk around and show a customer how everything works. So anything for an easy life. Obviously, then you would hand over your keys, and then the customer would head away on their holiday. And then when the van is returned, you would complete the check-in again. So go back to that vehicle condition report that you've signed, walk around the van, check how everything everything is okay. And then our system, our booking system then releases their security deposit for them if you're happy with everything. So then finally, how to avoid issues. So yeah, just some common things if you're almost for the process of renting out your camper van, and just some tips to think about before doing so. So really, really important thing is to use labels. So something I say to owners all the time is, if it seems obvious to you, you can almost guarantee it's not going to be obvious to a customer who might not ever have traveled in a van before. So labels on everything. Labels if you've to refill water outside the van, where to refill the diesel, bins, where to turn on the heater, all that thing. Labels are your friend, and again will save you any issues in the long run. So making fixtures and fittings robust. So this is super important if you're in the process of converting. Think about, obviously, customers are going to be driving around your camper van for long periods of time. Will there be any issues with cupboards opening, closing, doors opening, closing? Will it cause breakages? Obviously, any time that you can avoid fixing things in the summer when you may have back-to-back bookings is so important. And so yeah, if it's a case where you've just purchased your van, as I was saying before, take a few trips, drive it around, trips around a few roundabouts maybe to make sure everything fits in place. There is ample storage that closes properly. Again, anything to avoid potential damage and to make your life easier. So yeah, kind of following on from that is assume your hire knows nothing. So again, if you've gone on a lot of campervan holidays, have had your van for a while, it might seem, a lot of these things seem obvious to you, but just assume that your hire doesn't. So example for this, maybe get a big sticker, pop in the vehicle height of your campervan in the front cab, just in case your hire is driving under a bridge or anything. They can clearly see this is the external height of the van. Yes, I can travel under this. No, I can't. So again, just try to think about these things from someone who might not be used to driving a camper van. So yeah, again, keep going back to this point, but use your van, learn how everything works. Installing reversing cameras and sensors, probably one of my most important top tips. Obviously, an additional expense to begin with, but will save you lots of money in the long run. So again, a lot of our customers might not be used to driving larger vehicles, especially ones with limited back window viewing. So by having a camera, sensors, yeah, anything like that to make navigating the van a lot easier, definitely something we would recommend doing. And yeah, as I was saying before, making some how-to videos. So a lot of our owners do kind of short, maybe 30-second, 1-minute videos. This is how the heater works. This is how to turn on the hot water. This is how to assemble the bed if it's a pull-out bed. All these little videos, obviously you just have to make them once, pop them in a Dropbox folder or on YouTube or anything like that to just have available. And as I said, you do it once, it's available for every customer. And it just means that yeah, you've done all the heavy lifting and the customer doesn't have to come back to you every time they've forgotten something. So definitely worth thinking about. So that is pretty much it. So if you want to know more, if you haven't done so already, you can register for our FAQs on our website. So the link is there. Or if you just pop on our website and there is a tab up the top that says rent out your camper van. We also have a campervan book or for building your campervan. So that's also available on our website in the shop. And if you haven't bought a campervan and you'd like to try before you buy or meet one of our lovely campervan owners to see how they do the process, you can do that on the higher part of our website. Or if you have any questions from this, to just email us at campervans@quirkycampers.co.uk. So that's everything. Thank you so much for watching. If you do have any questions, as I said, please get in touch and we'd be more than happy to answer them.